One of the goals I have when I get on here and talk about the experience of narcissistic abuse is that I'm trying to put a voice, I'm trying to put words to the experiences that narcissistic abuse survivors have. Part of the experience of trying to heal is trying to describe to oneself, let alone anyone else, the actual nature of the violation which has occurred here. Because it's so foreign, it's so extensive, it's so multi-layered. It can be very, very hard to define, and it's never just one thing. It's many multiple things, and they'll often affect each other. So one of the things I wanted to put a voice to is what happens when you start to break away from a narcissist and maybe try and reach out to other people and just say a few things. You're trying to test the water. You know that everyone you know, they know too. And they've won everyone over to their side with their narratives. So you kind of test the waters a little eventually. You might say one or two things and you're either looked at strangely or you're not believed, or even worse, you get very strange responses like, well, why didn't you just leave? I mean, they're not strange in some contexts, but what's strange about them is that one would expect, upon revelation, upon telling people what's happened to you, for the first response of good people, of supportive people, to be, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Are you okay? What can I do? And that's just not what I found. What I found was accusation. Because I was poking the tiniest hole in the narrative that the narcissist had painted. A narrative, a fairy tale that everybody loved. And I never even got going, not really. I never revealed even nothing like the extent of the truth of the situation. But what I was met with was, why didn't you? And after I tried to sort of talk more about a few things, the next response would be, well, why don't you just move on and start your new life and get on with things? Which was also another response directed towards the person who had been abused, asking them why they haven't done the right thing. The right thing. And it takes a while. If you're in that position, which I was, and I'm speaking exactly what I experienced, then you're kind of so confused. You don't know what you had expected, but you hadn't expected this, and you almost can't put your finger on what's wrong with this picture. It actually took me a while until I realized, hey, why is no one turning and saying, oh, this is so terrible. We didn't know that he is like this. Literally, one of the people I said, after I explained this, and they said, why didn't you say anything earlier? And then why don't you just get on with your life? One of the things he said was, you know, I'm still going to hang out with him anyway. And at the time I said, yeah, it's totally up to you. I'm not trying to tell you how to behave. But later when I thought about it, I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is when I really came to understand how much of a number that um, narcissistic techniques, what a number they do on people. Because this person I'm talking about, he and I used to live together in a share house. We used to spend a lot of time, this is not the narcissist, this is the person that I thought would listen to me and understand. I didn't expect anything much from this person except an understanding ear, and I did not get that at all. But this person and I used to live in this share house together. We used to have breakfast together. We've had all kinds of deep conversations. We'd done all kinds of things together. We lived together for almost a year. And yet, the narcissist had infiltrated even this person. So that this person, when I came to them explaining what I couldn't give all the details for various reasons, but they seemed to be interested. It was like my experience was an inconvenience to the pretty picture that the narcissist had painted, because they do paint the most brilliant pictures. The problem is those pictures are lies. It's just a facade. And because people love the facade so much, they put aside real things like real friendships, real connections, in the pursuit of the beautiful lie. And it goes back to that question, right? Why don't you just move on with your life? I mean, this friend of mine did say a few true things, one of which he said, you have an amazing future ahead of you. Why don't you just go for that future? And what I said to him was, I can't see it right now. And that was true at the time. Because we can't. Because we've been so mistreated that it messes with our capability to be able to envision a future for ourselves. Our energy, our attention is co-opted so completely by this child in an adult body who demands and takes. It's not so easy. And the other thing is, there's a betrayal that we feel that we can't quite name. When we finally click, when we finally snap out of it. Remember, all the friends and all the acquaintances, they're still in the fantasy. But you, as the significant other, or maybe a closer friend or family member who's woken up, you step out of the fantasy and then you shed layers of the fantasy until you reach a level of clarity where you just suddenly realize, oh my God, the whole thing was basically a fairy tale. And you realize that all the decisions that you made, all of the guilt tripping that they did towards you, all of the ways they made you feel, all of the ways they let you sacrifice yourself for them, were on the basis of a lie. Because you went through a lot, right? It was hard. But you did it because you were working towards something you thought was real, something that you thought had potential. You thought there was love here, there was regard here, there was care here. And maybe we're just having problems like other couples do or other families do. But once you see the mask slip in certain significant ways, it changes the whole of the history that you thought you just lived through, because nothing means what you thought it meant before. Every time they guilted you and used their care and their love for you to make you feel bad or do something that you felt obligated to do, you remember that. And then you go, but wait, this mask slip has revealed to me that you never loved me. You never cared for me because you couldn't have gone and done that now, which shows that all of that lip service, all of that, I love you, I care about you, was not real. And that's why all these years it's felt off. All these years, something just didn't, because you were performing. This is what they do. They perform. They'll lie up and down. They'll say that, no, they do love you. They'll say that they do care. And you'll believe them. If it's covert narcissist, or one of the other subtler forms of narcissist, you will believe them because they believe it. They absolutely believe that what they are calling love is love. And they are too full of themselves, too egotistical, too lacking in insight to be able to admit and realize, to have the humility to understand that they actually don't feel love in the way regulated people do. They don't feel care in those ways. It's a different mechanism, but they see it being acted out among us. It's a performance. It's like a monkey with a briefcase and a hat on and a tie, and he's walking around looking like a businessman. It's not a businessman. He doesn't understand business. He can act out the part, look the part. The monkey might be convinced that he is doing the thing called being a businessman, but he's not. And it's the same with narcissists. They are revealed by the fact that their actions do not back up their words. How do you know that they don't love you? How do you know they don't care? How do you know those are not real emotions? Because when they are tested, when they are challenged, when pressure is applied, real love gets stronger, takes the pressure, and does the sacrifice. It doesn't run off scared. It isn't a coward. It doesn't betray you for its benefit. They can perform all they like, but we know them by their fruit. The tree grows, the narcissistic tree grows, we grow together. But when the harvest time comes, when the fruit are coming out, then you see these are not the same. This is an actual apple tree, and this is just a mimic. This one looks the same, convinces you, smells, everything looks the same. It'll take the same amount of nutrients as the other, but it won't produce the fruit. What you're looking for and waiting for will not be there. It's not reliable. That's when you know. By then it's too late. But then you look back and you think, wow, I watered this tree. When there was disease or bugs or rot in the branches, I pruned it, I looked after it, I cared for it. I expected it to bear fruit. but it was a mimic. It was a cuckoo. This is why it's not that easy to just move on. It's not that easy to just get over it. Because the betrayal is so acute when you understand that you were allowed to live a life and make choices and do difficult things and make sacrifices and do things you can't take back and go in ways that you never would have gone before because you believed that they were true, that they were an apple tree and not a fake apple look-alike tree. You see too that despite all of what they might say, they too know that at some level, they too know that they are not like us. They know that they can't deliver the way we can, and yet they still allow us to live and act under the impression that we'll have a promising future with them, like we could have with any other person who would treat us as equals and not try and sabotage us and bring us down. So we see the theft, we see what was taken, and it hits at a level of your being that is very different than other relationships. We've all had normal, like other relationships with people. It doesn't work out, you move on. It's difficult, you go on. This is not like that. This is a whole different level of violation. It's not even about relationships anymore in the normal way, I feel. It's about another person. It's about a person treating another person with so little value that it changes something in you forever. To see someone treat you as so much less than you know yourself to be, it gives you a very different perspective. I'm not fully certain what that new perspective is. But it's definitely more grounded. It's definitely a perspective that helps me to see what I want and what I don't want. I always took myself and my life and my relationships very seriously. And I had hoped that a person that I got together with would do the same. But with these people, your good intent means nothing. If anything, it just makes you more vulnerable to their schemes. So yeah, I hope I've been able to give a voice today to something maybe you've experienced, maybe give you some clarity. I'm very, very eager to help myself have more clarity as I talk through these things and share it with you so that if you can obtain clarity from my insight, from my experience, and it helps you, that would mean a lot. So if you enjoyed the message, please do like, share, and consider subscribing. Till next time.